How's it going, everybody? Guess who? That's right, I'm back for one video only, actually. What I've decided to do, since I've gotten quite a few emails and stuff like that from people who used to watch my videos who like seeing my reviews and stuff, I've created a Twitter account, and I'm gonna post the link in the video. And from now on, during pay-per-views and even Raws and SmackDowns and stuff, when I see great matches, I'm going to start posting my star ratings and a bit description about the matches themselves, since people used to like me doing that. I didn't really leave YouTube for any particular reason. I just didn't want to do this anymore. But WrestleMania just happened last night, and very uneven show. Main event definitely did not live up to expectations. It was going along very well, but the ending was just really very poorly booked. The Undertaker Triple H match was incredible in my eye. I know a few people have felt differently, but I love that match, to be completely honest with you. I'll explain why when I get to it. The first half of the show I thought was overall solid, with the exception of the 8-man tag. But I hated the fact. I really hated the fact, especially since I saw this in a movie theater. So when I was there, I didn't know that they had taken Daniel Bryan and Sheamus off the card, and they never announced that they did. So, and put it on the pre-show, but I really hated that, since I thought they had a really good, like, 5-minute match on Raw when Sheamus won the belt. I thought that match was really well done, and I thought with like maybe 10 minutes it might have been something great, but they didn't have that opportunity, unfortunately. Maybe tonight on Raw they'll have a rematch or whatever. Um, anyway, first match of the show was the World Heavyweight title match. I guess this is what happens when you have no money in the bank. You still have to kick it off hot. Edge versus Alberto Del Rio. Thought this was a pretty damn good match. A bit short, but had a great pace to it. These two work pretty well together. Only problem, I think it was way too short. I think this needed like at least another 5-10 minutes, because it only went like 10 minutes, maybe a little more. But Del Rio did a great job, as did Edge. Everyone was hoping for a Christian heel turn here. Did not happen. We'll see where that goes. At the end, they smashed Del Rio's car, which didn't really do anything for me. I thought that should have been used for match time, since that wasn't really necessary. And it looks as if from doing that, they'll probably want to have a rematch, but that really doesn't make any sense, since they really ended everything here, because Edge beat Del Rio clean. He's fine with that, and he destroyed Alberto's car, so Alberto really has no rematch kind of clause here or purpose for it. So, but all in all, a damn good match. I gave it 3 1/4 stars. Up next on the show was the Rey Mysterio Cody Rhodes match. Again, really good. This one did not have as fast of a pace as the first match, but the spots were really well done. Everything was really well timed. The match was very crisp, very well done. The mask thing with Cody Rhodes, I thought was great. I thought him using it as a weapon was a great idea, and Rey taking it off and using it against Cody was a great storyline for the match. Cody won, which I love. I love the fact that they're going to push Rhodes. I love Rhodes. The ending was very well done as well, with the knee brace. He hits Rey in the head with it, and then hits the crossroads, and the ring gets the pin. So I also gave this match 3 1/4 stars. I can see this match probably having its critics, since, like I said, it wasn't as fast of a pace, especially as the first one. But I did think it was really well done. So up next, we had the 8-man tag match. Very pointless. It was Kofi, Big Show, Kane, and Santino versus the Core there. This really just buried the Core. I don't know what else to say. Kofi was added to the match at last minute, since Kozlov was taken out at the fan access thing. Great if Kozlov fucking sucks, but this definitely needed, even for this match, a bit more time to really get into it. And it was only 2 minutes, so I'm not really going to rate this, but it wasn't even really worth watching. So very pointless match, and they took Daniel Bryan and Sheamus off the card for this, or even to add like 5 or 6 extra minutes to Jerry Lawler and Michael Cole, which I'll get to in a minute, but unbelievable. Up next was the Randy Orton CM Punk match. Now, I don't know if this happened to anyone else, but See, I watched this. I watched this match. Like I said, at a movie theater where that has Bell TV satellite. The show went out at this point. The show went out for about 5-10 minutes, and it was a satellite feed. I don't know, maybe it's because it was snowing where I was last night, but it cut right out of the match. So I actually, after I got home from watching the show, I had to rewatch the entire pay-per-view on a stream just to see how that match went, and it was worth watching it because that match was very, very good. I liked the very methodical kind of pace to it, the Orton type pace to a match. I thought it was very well done. The selling of Orton's knee, very well done, and the ending was great. It was kind of sort of like the Carlito ending. I forget the show, but where he jumped right into the RKO, and I really loved that ending. Like I said, match itself very methodical. I can see it having a few critics, but I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the pace of it, and I enjoyed the way it ended, and I enjoyed the entire match itself. I gave this 3.5 stars. So up next was, unfortunately, we had basically Vince McMahon versus Bret Hart Part 2, except it was Jerry Lawler versus Michael Cole. Now, this match started off very good. It started off, with the King taking out Swagger on the outside, then Michael Cole trying to shake his hand inside of his coal mine there, and Lawler pulls him against it and goes inside of it and beats the hell out of him, and I thought that was a great way to start it off. Once Michael Cole started working on the leg and stuff like that, it got really boring. The crowd was chanting boring, and this match did not need, the 13 minutes that it got. And like I said, they took Sheamus and Daniel Bryan off the card for that, and, this went way too long. And other than the first, 2 or 3 minutes and, the last 2 or 3 minutes, crowd was not really that into it. Cole got himself over pretty well, but this match should have been no more than 6 minutes. Like I said, after it should have just been Lawler beats him up inside that coal mine thing, throws him inside the ring, then Swagger comes in to get involved, Austin stuns him, and then Lawler beats the hell out of Michael Cole, and then that's the end of the match. I think that's exactly how it should have been. Michael Cole did not need to get any offense into it. This match was strictly for him to get his ass kicked, and that's all people wanted to see, and that's exactly what just should have happened. So, but this match, in my opinion, is a dud, and I really hate doing this because I thought the feud was very well built, especially for an announcer kind of feud, and I really enjoyed everything that happened. Like I said, the stuff that started out and the stuff that ended it was fine, but I did not like this. This dragged on way too long and took away precious match time for both the 8-man tag and taking Daniel Bryan and Sheamus off the card, which I hated. So, dud for me. And the GM thing afterward is kind of a big hint that it has to be Michael Cole who is the GM. If not, then this made no sense. But I guess that was sort of a good story. Austin also did a great job. He was probably the best part of this match because the crowd went crazy for him when he did the stunner and started asking Cole if he really wanted to quit, and Cole was tapping like crazy. That was a very funny part of the match, and it had a good ending, but it just went on way too long for it to be anything good, so I'm sorry. Up next, we had, in my opinion, the match of the night and a match of the year candidate, and an excellent match at that. Triple H versus The Undertaker. I gave this 4.5 stars, and quite a few people who I've talked to have not chewed me out for that, but they've had their own opinions on the match. My personal thoughts are this. This was one of the most realistic matches that the WWE has done in a while, because every move in they made it like sort of a stiff kind of, I want to say Japanese-esque style match where every move meant something, and every move felt like it could end the match, because it was the pedigrees, the choke slams, the last ride, the tombstones. A lot of people have been saying the pace of the match was too slow. I disagree. I thought it was very well done, them selling their injuries and everything, and it started off very well with the spine buster through the table and Undertaker's dive to the outside, which I was surprised because I thought maybe he'd be too afraid to do it after what happened to him 2 years ago. But I thought this match worked out very well, and I loved the pace to it. I loved the fact that it felt like every move could end the match. The only thing I did not like about this match, the only thing I really hated, was the ending. The ending I thought was too weak, with Triple H fading in the in the Hell's Gate there. I was wanting to cut the Go-Go Plata, but the Hell's Gate. Him fading, and then he finally just gives a weak ass tap out, and that's the end of the match. I hated that. I thought it should have ended with like a tombstone on a chair or on the steel stairs or something. What else was I gonna say? My friend Jeremy, who was with me in the theater, actually had a great idea for the end of this match. Triple H does the fading thing, and then on the third one, he reaches down, grabs a sledgehammer, and pounds Taker with it to get out of the hold. I think that would have been a much better way to get into an ending sequence. But the match just ended there, and I thought that was too abrupt and, like I said, a really weak feeling kind of ending. But still, the match up until that point was excellent. I freaking loved it, and a few people might chew me out for this, but I'm not the first person to rate it this high. I did love the match this much, and I'm giving it 4.5 stars. It wasn't as good as Taker Shawn has been in the past 2 years, but still an incredible match, and probably Triple H's best match since his three-way with Benoit and Shawn at either Backlash or Mania, whichever one you preferred more. So, an incredible match in my eye. Up next was the 6-person tag. It was Morrison, Snooki, and Trish Stratus versus Lay Cool and Dolph Ziggler. This was pretty much a waste of Morrison and Ziggler. Morrison did like the big spot of the match with the starship painted the outside, which was nice, but him and Dolph should have been used much better in this match, or just have a separate match. Snooki actually did a pretty good job with her minute she was in the ring, but match only went like 3-4 minutes, so you can't really judge by too much. I'll give this match a star just because even though it was way too short and a waste of a lot of talent, it was pretty entertaining for like the 4 minutes it was. It didn't really slow down, and the crowd was really into it, so I'll give this a star. Then we had our main event, which was The Rock versus, John Cena. There you go. John Cena versus The Miz. And right before I get into that, I just want to say, The Rock's stuff throughout the night, I enjoyed his opening promo. I enjoyed pretty much all of his backstage skits, the one with Austin, the one with Mae Young, and Mean Gene and Pee Wee Herman. I thought they were all pretty funny. Him coming out at the end, I'll get to that in a sec, actually, though. So, John Cena and The Miz. This match was going along very well. I enjoyed the way it started out and how it built into a good match. I thought it was going along very well, but the count-out ending was stupid, a very stupid booking idea. I hated that, and how they restarted the match, and The Rock just gave him the rock bottom, and Miz pinned him. I hated that, because, Miz wins, but he looks really weak doing it. Apparently, Rock is going to be staying with the WWE, at least throughout the summer, and this may lead to a match with him and John Cena at SummerSlam. So, if that's the case, I'm all for it, but they could have done something like this on a Raw. Like, I was hoping for more of a clean finish, clean kind of match. But up until then, yeah, I think it was going along very well. Like, when Miz kicked out of the FU there, I don't think anyone was expecting that. That was an excellent false finish right there. And that spear off of the barricade, that looked sick. Like, they actually landed on the concrete there. That looked really hard. And but the count-out finish just didn't do it for me. Rock coming out, as I said, it got people popped, entertained, but him just rock bottoming Cena and Miz getting the pin, and then he just does the people's elbow on the Miz. Miz won at Mania, and he's still the champ, and I like that. I like the fact that he's still the champ, but I just think this should have been done a hell of a lot better. The match was just picking up, like getting into its groove. Like, you could tell, like, if this would have had like another 5 to 6 to 7 minutes, this would have been a great match, but it was just ruined by that stupid count out and the stupid overbooking kind of feel finish. And I'll give the whole thing, I'll give it 2.5 stars for like the Rock coming out and the Cena stuff, just because I do think they are going to go into a storyline with that. But like I said, this is something that should have been done on like a Raw or like a secondary kind of pay-per-view, not a WrestleMania main event. So overall, I give the event about a 7, mainly because of Shawn Michaels and Triple H's performance, and there were quite a few other really good matches. Other than Jerry the King Lawler and Michael Cole, there was nothing really bad on the show, nothing really you'd want to skip over. But I also hated the fact that they left Sheamus and Daniel Bryan off there, because I think they could have done something great too. So that's all. Follow me on Twitter, and I will be giving pay-per-view updates, star ratings, stuff like that on there from now on instead of on here. So goodbye YouTube, and thank you.